Hey beauties, we're back for another live cooking show of Kim Cooks Live this week. And this week I'm going to show you how to make my mushroom and dandelion leaf polenta. It's vegan, it's really easy to make, it makes a delicious dinner. I have it finished here for you because I made it for dinner last night, which is part of the inspiration of doing this video today. And I'm going to teach you how to make it, but it takes some time. It takes about 25 minutes or so, so we probably won't finish the whole thing. So I wanted to show you what it looks like finished. It's super yummy. And I got, of course, my best buddy here, little Bob, who's just eating some carrots and broccoli in the background, so hopefully he cooperates with us while we're cooking today. So, polenta, very, very easy to make. Of course, you want to make sure that you're starting with ground cornmeal. I get it dry like this. Sometimes you can get polenta pre-made or mixed with water already, but I like to have it like this. And what we're going to do, you want to have about 3 times as much water or so to polenta. So I'm going to make half a cup today. I'm going to make a really small portion just to show you guys the process. But if you're making it for your family, of course, double or triple the recipe. So I'm going to put a cup and a half of water in this big pot. Yes, Angel. Mommy's making polenta. And I'm going to turn that on, and we're going to start it on high just to get it going, and then we're going to add the polenta, and we're really going to reduce the temperature because those of you that have made polenta before know that it starts to spit, it starts to get crazy. So it's a little bit laborious. It doesn't take too long, but a lot of stirring. So again, about a third cup. Hey guys, I see you guys starting to come in from all over the place. Amazing. So a cup and a half of water, and we're going to do half a cup of polenta. And I'm going to put that in. I'm going to stir it in the water. And again, this is a nice hearty dinner. I made it for the family last night. It's a really comforting dish. It's great, especially in winter. It makes great leftovers the next day. You'll see from our recipe that the way that we're making it, we're really packing it with veggies. So there's a lot of veggies per square inch of the polenta. It's not just this huge mass of corn, basically. It's going to be very rich in veggies, very nourishing, very, very delicious, especially with everything that we're putting in. So the veggies that we are putting in, speaking of veggies, this is dandelion leaf, which I'm dripping all over the place. Yes, it is like the weed. Like you could literally go foraging for dandelion. Now you can get it at health markets in a big old bunch like this, the way you buy spinach. And I'm using about a third a bunch here because when you cook it, it starts to reduce down. And I'm just gonna rough chop it. How you doing, bud? You need another carrot? There you go. Yes. So we're gonna do the dandelion. If you can't find dandelion, no worries. You can also use spinach. You can use kale. You can use any type of green that you really want. Now these are cremini mushrooms, and I slice them thinly. I like to get the mushrooms whole and slice them myself. I don't like to buy them pre-sliced because I think that they can get soggy and sort of weird, and this way they taste really fresh. And of course we know that mushrooms are a fantastic source of protein, of minerals, of vitamin D. So that's part of what makes this dish a great dish for dinner. It's got a lot of different nutrients. It's nice and hearty. So now I'm going to take some extra virgin coconut oil. This is the Garden of Life brand. And I'm going to take probably like 2 teaspoons or so. And I've got, which you guys see pretty much every week, I've got my trusty green pan here. And I'm just putting it on medium. And I'm going to add the coconut oil in there and just let that start to melt. So back to our polenta. It's starting to get warm in there. So I'm going to turn it all the way to low. That's the thing. We've got to keep it low, otherwise it starts to spit the little corn pieces. It's not fun. Keeping it all the way in the back burner, very far away from Bubby, who's safe in his high chair, and putting it on super low. So it's just going to cook very, very slowly while we're cooking the rest of our dish. So cremini mushrooms, you can also use shiitake mushrooms. You can use pretty much any mushrooms that you want. For this small amount, I'm doing about a third a pound. And again, for this small amount, I'm doing about half a bunch of the greens. So the coconut oil is melting in here in the green pan. Got lots of commentary from Bubby. What do you think, Bubby? What do you think, my angel? Well, I hope he cooperates. Otherwise, our auntie, our tita, that's how you say auntie in Tagalog, is staying with us, and I might have to hand him off, but hopefully not. So now I'm gonna just put the mushrooms, little sizzle on there, so we know that the pan is nice and warm. Again, I'm obsessed with this green pan. You guys can get it at, you get it on Amazon or Bed Bath & Beyond or any sort of store like that. It's like $25. I highly recommend it. It just makes cleanup a lot easier. It makes your cooking life a lot easier. You won't have to use as much oil, so on and so forth. So because this is all going to mix together, and I want to clean as little as possible, I'm going to use the same wooden spoon, and I'm just going to keep stirring the polenta. So we just keep stirring and stirring and stirring so it doesn't stick on the bottom. And might need a little more liquid over here. Sometimes what I do is I just add a little bit of water since I put some oil. See how we can. Soon the mushrooms are going to release some natural juices as well. So I like to do the mushrooms first. How are you doing, Angel? This is the ultimate multitask mommy. He took a short nap today. He doesn't want his broccoli right now. So we're doing this with Bubby, of course, all together. Okay, so the mushrooms are starting to soften. I don't need to cook the greens as much, so I'm doing them, let's see, I'm doing them in a couple minutes here. You can start to season. I'm keeping this really simple. Sometimes I put basil, sometimes I add fresh herbs. Today I'm just gonna do my freshly cracked black pepper, and I love this pink Himalayan sea salt. It's my favorite. You can get it at health markets, or you can get your sea salt in bulk from stores even like Home Goods, and you get a huge amount for like $7. So I'm just gonna season a little bit, the mushrooms, a little bit of salt. It's great. These pepper grinders are amazing. The taste of the black pepper is so fresh and bright, rather than buying ground black pepper. And also, some believe that the oils in black pepper can get rancid, so it's a really good idea to get the fresh black pepper. Hey, Angel, you want another piece of broccoli? Brock. This is what we call it, brock. Here you go, buddy. Here you go, buddy. It's steamed nice and soft for him so he can just play and do his own thing. Okay, so the mushrooms are in. And now we're going to add the dandelion greens into the same dish. Oh, honey. Honey bunny boo. What's the matter? Okay. Mommy's cooking. I think we're going to have to say goodbye to Bubby for now. We're going to give you to Auntie. We're going to give you to Tita. Oh. Say bye to the beauties. We'll see you in a couple of minutes, Bubby. I think you're going to go down for your nap. Auntie, hold on 1 second. I'll just take him upstairs for a couple of minutes. Thank you, Tita. Mom will be right back. Mom will be right back. We're at the age now, Bubby's almost 11 months old. His naps are kind of all, he was really regular. Now they're all over the place a little bit. So thankfully I have our auntie here helping us right now for another pair of hands. Okay, so back to this. We're wilting the greens. You're going to see when you start to make this, it's going to seem like there's going to be so many greens, but when you cook them, they get smaller and smaller and smaller. That's why I recommend using about half a bunch of the dandelion. And again, if you guys are just joining us, if you can't find dandelion greens at the market, which is getting more common, you could always use spinach, kale, whatever's around. So the polenta, we're stirring it and stirring it. There's something really meditative about this dish because it's just a lot of love and stirring. So basically what's happening is it's starting to harden. The polenta is absorbing the liquid and some is being is vaporizing. Okay, so I think this is good. I don't like to overcook or over saute. The mushrooms are softened. They release some juices. I didn't have to add any more oil, which is nice. I just seasoned with a little bit of salt and pepper. And so this feels pretty good to me. I'm going to turn the heat off here on the veggies. Now, I also had this so delicious culinary coconut milk, which I love because it's easy. You can rescrew the top. There's no issue with BPA from a can or anything like that. So I use this a lot when I'm cooking. It's a very concentrated coconut milk. You can find this usually in the Asian section of health markets. That's where it is in the markets near me. But you know, just look around. Sometimes it's not really in the coconut milk section. I find it where the other coconut milk in Kansas, which happens to be the Asian market. So this is 11 ounces. So I'm going to use about a third of this whole little cute carton, and I'm going to pour that into the polenta that's been cooking here for a couple of minutes. So when it comes out, let's see if I can show you guys. It's kind of crazy looking. It's really thick. Let's see. It's really thick, and it looks like that, like a big old dollop. Whoop. So again, it just makes it really convenient to cook like that. You don't have to open a can. You don't have to deal with aluminum cans. I'm going to mix it right into the polenta, and this is going to give an amazing creamy texture without butter, which is traditionally added into regular polenta, or cheese or anything like that. So this is dairy free, and it's amazing how the coconut milk just goes and blends and adds that richness. So once you add the coconut milk, again, it's just going to take a little bit longer. You just have to be patient. I'm going to turn it up just a tiny bit. What we don't want is that spattling. So this is a dish. Just know you're going to be in the kitchen for 20 minutes. You can do other stuff. Give it a stir. And I'm going to season the polenta as well. So when I cook, I like to have every component seasoned so it tastes good. So I season the veggies separate. And now I'm going to add a little bit of salt. This Himalayan salt, again, it's the Himalayan company. This is my favorite. I love the pink salt. It's got minerals in it. It looks really pretty. I love it. It makes me happy in my kitchen. And I'm going to add some of the freshly cracked black pepper into the polenta as well. And I'm going to give that a little bit of a stir. So I'll show you guys what we're going to do in the meantime. What you want to do is you want to get a nice, I usually use a rectangular dish. This is the one that as I mentioned to you guys, I made this for dinner last night, which is part of the reason for this inspiration. So there's only a little bit left. This is the rest of the leftovers. But this is a nice little cute dish that you can put on the table when you're serving. So I take a paper towel, I take some coconut oil, and you want to prepare by starting to grease your pan, your serving dish, so that it doesn't stick when you go to serve it. So you can start to get that ready while you're stirring and stirring and stirring. So I'm going to keep this going. I'm going to stir a little bit more. It's starting to harden. It's starting to thicken a little bit. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all the veggies, all these beautiful veggies that we sauteed, literally only in coconut oil, salt and pepper. And this is broccoli and dandelion greens. And I'm going to add them right into the polenta mixture as it's hardening, because it's going to harden, it's going to set with all those amazing veggies in there. And that's what makes this such a delicious dish, because you're scooping down, you're getting the veggies as you're getting some of the polenta. So I'm going to just keep stirring this. I'm going to start to look at some of your guys' questions. I want to show you the finished polenta again, because I made it for last night. I had some leftovers. So you can see it's like, I like to cut it in these little squares. You can pick it up, you can take it to lunch, you can put it on a salad. It's really delicious. There's a lot of layers of the mushroom and the dandelion greens. By the way, dandelion greens are one of the best greens for your liver. They're very astringent. They add a nice bite. Arugula would also be fantastic in this recipe. But dandelion greens are very powerful for cleansing your blood, cleansing your liver. And I think that astringent taste works really well with the fattiness and the richness of the polenta. So it's getting there. We got to keep on stirring, stirring, and stirring, and stirring. And again, I have it on super, super low. It's the lowest setting. So it's so, so yummy. I wish you guys could have a bite with me, but hopefully you'll be inspired to make this recipe very soon. Again, this is the polenta that I work with. It's dried. You can find this usually in the section where they have all the flours. I think there's a brand called Red Mill. They have all the different gluten-free flours, and they have things like, teff and brown rice flour, and they usually have organic polenta. And when you get a little packet, and it will last you quite a long while. So again, this is a dish we work in here and there. Hi Faith, hi Christina. Lydia says looks yummy. Oh, Yvette says, what brand is your green pan? So I believe that it's called the green pan. If you go to KimberlySnyder.com in the shop section, I have all the different recommendations and the links right to get the pans. So Yvette, please check it out. Again, at KimberlySnyder.com, there's Kim's picks and includes cooking gear as well. Carrie says, the culinary coconut milk is in the Asian section. Yes. This is great because you can re-close it. You can't close a can, and I just don't really like dealing with cans, and they can have lining and BPA. So this is a great option. I think it's fantastic. It has a little cover. You can put it back in the fridge. You can use it for the next recipe. So it's fantastic. Sea salt, yes. So the sea salt, this is it's a fine pink salt, and it's high in minerals. You can get it like this, or I think I shared this on a vlog. I also, look at this huge bag of sea salt. I got this huge bag for $7 at Home Goods. If you guys have a Home Goods near you, it's amazing. It has organic tea. It has huge amounts of sea salt like this. It's got a lot of treasures. If you can go and get it, I think that I think it's the same price as this small amount of sea salt. So I'm really a huge fan of Home Goods, if you guys have one in the area. Hi, Monica. Hi, Lisa. Yes, Carrie's asking about recipes and recipes for children. And yes, it will definitely come in a book. There's been a lot going on, and so I kind of have, just been a little crazy, but I'm going to focus more back on book projects for sure. Good morning, Timothy from California. Yes. Suzanne says a cookbook is coming. I'm really excited. I have a lot of ideas for that. Clarissa says, I missed what you're making. So we're making the mushroom and dandelion root polenta, Clarissa. And I'll show you guys what it looks like again. It's really delicious. It's got different layers in it, and makes great leftovers. So back to our dish. It's pretty much almost done. When it's almost all hard, well, I'm going to keep stirring for a couple more minutes, but when it's pretty hard like this, you can add it to your greased pan. So my pan is still pretty greased from the polenta yesterday. You can just add it into a square pan like this. I can see the coconut oil still in it. It's going to take a little longer to set, but that's okay. I want to show you guys the full process. So it's pretty warm for precaution. Gosh knows, through all these recipe makings, I have a million little burns on my hands. So now I try and be extra precautious. And what you do is you just take all the polenta, can you guys see what I'm doing, and pour it into your dish like this. Perfect. And then, once it's all in your dish, I take my little handle and I just make it an even layer, and I push it around. Now, I did this just to show you guys. It could definitely use more time, probably like 5 more minutes, because I did it at such a low temperature, but that's okay. It'll still set. It'll still be delicious. It's going to take longer to harden. So you let it rest. You let it sit and sort of harden into this shape for, I would say at least 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes or so. If you've cooked it through enough, it'll take less time. And it just hardens, and that's it. It's so amazing. It's so easy. Let me show you the finished product one last time. Here's all 4 little pieces. So it's delicious. It looks nice. You can cut it into squares or triangles like I do and stack them. Try and make a little fancy presentation. Serve it at your next dinner party or for your family, and hopefully everybody will love it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember that there's tons of recipes on KimberlySnyder.com, and also please get on our free newsletter. I'm sending out 2 recipes a week. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you make this mushroom and dandelion polenta. I hope you enjoy it, and let me know how you do. Otherwise, I'll see you on the blog, and I'll see you guys next week for another live cooking show.